First of all, to introduce yourself and inform us of the motivation to apply for membership in the CRPD. Then to speak on the question on independence and impartiality in particular, inform us whether you do hold or whether you previously held any position with or behalf of your government, the executive branch in particularly. And finally, in this first block, if you all could mention any background on the nomination process of your candidacy and the participatory process. So, for example, we'd be keen to hear were civil society, academia, or the National Human Rights Institution involved in your nomination. So
good morning here in Brazil. I'm Mara Gabrilli, the Brazilian candidate running for re-election to the CRPD, and I am delighted to have this opportunity to share my journey and aspirations with you. I would like to thank the Geneva Academy of International Humanitarian Law and Human Rights, and I want to extend a special thank you to all the representatives of civil society joining us today. Your presence here highlights the vital importance of collaboration and shared commitment in advancing the rights of persons with disabilities. When I was 26 years old, I broke my neck in a car accident and became quadriplegic. Even before my accident, I was already advocating for the rights of people with disabilities. Over 3 decades of my career, I have accumulated a lot of experience as an activist in defense of the rights of people with disabilities to access and expand health, resource, rehabilitation, and assistive technologies, as well as policies for educational and professional inclusion, and to encourage sports, leisure, culture, accessibility, and sustainable urban mobility. In 17 years as a parliamentarian in Brazil, I had the opportunity to be author of the final text of the Brazilian Law of Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities, which is based on the Convention and their optional protocol. From 2019 to 2022, I worked at the CRPD and improved my expertise in several areas, mainly through the preparation of the General Comment number 8 on the right to decent work and an unpublished guide for deinstitutionalization. As a member of the working group on girls and women with disabilities, I defended the inclusion of gender as a structural agenda in all UN collegiate bodies.
The motivation for my candidacy started with the 45 years in the world of disability. I was 16 years old when I became disabled, and I went through all the rehabilitation process and the development process as an activist, and in the formation of the organizations, civil societies. And at the moment, I am an advisor for people with disability in the Latin American region. And within all this work, my colleagues were motivating me to take this candidacy. So the Dominican mission in New York was also motivating me when they realized how much work I did in the Dominican Republic. That's why I say that I'm going to work in favor of people with disability, as I worked before. That's the first thing. And when we talk about the challenges that the committee is facing with this global crisis everybody is facing, when we talk about those challenges, I have to say that we, until 2020, we went backwards. And now we have to increase this work, this constant work. We have to
I am Ima Placencia, and I have I'm a senior expert at the European Commission on Disability and Inclusion. I'm working as a focal point for the European Union of the Convention. I'm responsible for coordinating disability policies at EU level and implementation of the Convention through strategies on the rights of persons with disabilities. A core part of my work is on accessibility, both including policy and legislation. The main motivation that I have to become a member of the CRPD is to share and apply the knowledge and experience that I have done to advance the implementation of the conventions and the enjoyment of human rights of persons with disabilities within the EU and also internationally, and continue to advance on those policies. I am motivated to deliver valuable contributions in the area. Concerning the independence, I've never worked on an executive branch of the European Commission. My work has been always being in the services and in the private sector. And then the process for my nomination, I believe it has been really transparent and participatory. In the first, there has been a call for expression of interest where the possibility to be a candidate was published. There was a panel followed by with interviews. And then after the candidate was selected, it was discussed with the 27 member states. And before submitting the candidacy to the UN, there was a consultation held with EU-level disability organizations who expressed their support for my candidacy. I think I've done the 2 minutes just now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity I have been given. My name is Georgi Diniladze. I represent Georgia for 49 years. I've been a wheelchair user. I had my vertebra broken when I was a young person in my neck, and for a very long time, for 35 years, I've worked with non-governmental organizations. At this point, I work for the Coalition for Independent Life, which is an umbrella organization which embraces 22 different or various organizations, in disability organizations. We had, as for the selection process, we had an open opportunity for candidates. We have a great government website. The government basically published that open call. Some 10 more people participated, or maybe 11 apart from me. And so I made it through 2 rounds. And after those first 2 rounds, I had meetings with Middle Asia and Eastern Europe countries representatives. And I hope that Middle Asia will finally be represented in the committee, because it never had a representative on the committee. I have also spoken to SDF members regarding their program, and other countries such as former Soviet Union countries and our Caucasus region countries, organizations from those countries. So basically, this is it regarding my motivation for my candidacy, and I was asked by them to represent them in the committee, which is a success in itself for me, irregardless of whether I will make it to the committee.
Okay, I'm very delighted to be here to participate in this very important discussion and to indicate that I've been a blind person for the past 35 years due to glaucoma, and I currently head the Center for Disability Studies at the University of the West Indies, where I drive research, public education, advocacy, and training on issues relating to persons with disabilities in the Caribbean. I have held government positions before. In between 2002 and 2007, I was a Minister of State and contributed immensely to the negotiations on the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Indeed, it was during that time that I affixed my signature on behalf of Jamaica as the first country to sign and ratify the CRPD in 2007. As it relates to the issue of independence, on the CRPD committee, no member is required to participate in any discussion, any dialogue relating to the state party which he or she is associated. So you have to recuse yourself from all discussions. And I fully subscribe to those principles to ensure that the decision-making processes of the committee are fully adhered to and respected. As it relates to the process of selection, the community of persons with disabilities in Jamaica was very much involved in the nomination, and all the NGOs representing organizations of and for persons with disabilities were consulted, and they unanimously supported my nomination for re-election to the committee. And I look forward to another great 4 years of service to the persons with disabilities across the world. I thank you.
The video.
Пожалуйста,
Hello,
запустите
my name is
видео.
Hiroshi Tamon. I'm born deaf and I'm from Japan.
Меня зовут Хироши Тамон. Я родился глухим, и я из Японии.
First, I will answer the general questions. About my motivation is to bring hope to people with disabilities worldwide by using the CRPD. For example, there are many earthquakes, water floods, and other natural disasters in Japan. And during these disasters, people with disabilities lose their hope. When disasters occur, I go to the site and I meet them and support their human rights and help them rebuild their lives, giving them great hope for the future. In addition, as the chairperson of a Japanese school for the deaf, I strive to eliminate social barriers and create a future full of hope for children with disabilities using the CRPD. These are my motivations. Secondly, regarding my involvement with the government, I have not been involved with the government for over 25 years. Instead, I've been a member of a private human rights law firm, independent of the government, which works to protect human rights. Thirdly, regarding the process of the candidate selection, various disability organizations in Japan discussed and selected me from many qualified people and proposed to the Japanese government to nominate me as a candidate. And the government did so. Therefore, I'm confident that the transparency and the participatory nature of the selection process were duly observed.
I'm legally blind. I lost my sight when I was in the university, on my third year in the university. And since then, I worked very hard and returned back to complete my first degree in History and International Studies, my master's degree in International Relations, and my PhD in International Relations. And since then, I have been in a front burner towards fighting for the rights of persons with disabilities. I have NGOs that I started National Disability Empowerment Forum, which I'm the chairman and CEO, and also Lotus Initiative for the Blind, LIB. Also, I'm the chairman of Rivers of Hope Humanitarian Initiative, and they have been involved actively fighting for the cause of persons with disabilities. And the department I head, I'm the head of CRPD, Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, in the Second United Nations Division of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and equally as my organization, Lotus Initiative for the Blind, was given special United Nations ECOSOC consultative status in 2017. For the past 26 years, I've been actively involved fighting for the rights of persons with disabilities through empowerment, through scholarship, through education, sensitization, and making sure that their rights and privileges are not trampled upon. So all this I've been doing over the years to ensure that people with disabilities are taken care of. And for the Disability Acts that was signed by the President of Nigeria in 2018, I was on the driver's seat towards fighting to get that done. That was 2018. And in 2019, we were able to have National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, which was established after the act was signed into law. So, and for information, in the 6 states of Nigeria, the majority of people have domesticated this law, and we have a state commission for persons with disabilities. So this I have been doing over the years, and that was just one of the major reasons why the federal government of Nigeria, by the former president of Nigeria, honored me with one of the biggest awards in Nigeria called Member of the Order of the Federal Republic, and which I've been working from the grassroots to national and up to the international level.
My name is Natalia Guala Viciait. I'm from Uruguay, and I would like to start highlighting that this candidacy is a joint proposal of the national government and the National Alliance of Organization of Persons with Disabilities, with the support of the National Human Rights Institute. Also, I would like to highlight that I have never held any position on behalf of my government. Based on my experience and my professional experience working in more than 35 countries around the world to implement the CRPD, and also based on my knowledge in the international cooperation and the human rights fields, and my experience working with the United Nations system, and as a person with disability, we believe my national government, the National Alliance of Persons with Disabilities, and the national human rights institutions, that this kind of approach could be very useful for the work of the committee. I really believe to be useful for the work of the committee because my main goal is enhancing the inclusion of persons with disabilities around the world, hopefully from the CRPD committee. Thank you.